Hi, I'm Tony Morales. I'm the short sale negotiator here at All Nations Realty, and my former employment was with a bank. I worked in a short sale department for 5 years, and what my duties were was to basically approve and decline short sales, and I was responsible for reviewing all the packages. What is very, very important with our short sales when they're being submitted to a bank is the documentation that negotiator has to review. The main ingredient for every short sale, first of all, is a hardship. We're always looking for a hardship. What is the reason why the homeowner defaulted on the payments, or the reasons why they're going to default on the payments, such as pending layoff at their job. That would be something that can happen in the future. That is something that's considered, or even a job relocation. What's very important is the documents that we have to review, that is sent to the negotiator, is accurate information, up-to-date information. Most banks require your most recent pay stubs, most recent bank statements, 2 years of tax returns, and your hardship letter. Oh, and also a financial statement. Your financial statement is very important because that's going to show what your current budget is. It's going to show where your expenses are now more than what your income is. So it's very important that when they analyze that, to know that you really have a financial hardship. One of the main things that we see that the agents do is sometimes not have a complete package. They get a couple pages this day, a couple pages that day. If you're working with your agent, it's very important to get all your information to them at one time and as soon as you can, because that's going to also help with the buyer situation. Because somebody's made an offer on your property, and they're kind of dependent on that agent to get that approved for them, so that they can get the house as soon as they can, and to look at your situation on how you're going to be doing your relocation as well, so that all that comes in the same time. One of the situations that happens with the banks is that they have many departments that deal with the loss mitigations. As the other representatives mentioned to you today, they have foreclosures, and when I worked at the bank, we used to have parties and big events where all the departments came into a big conference room, and they were always giving me awards for the best that departments would do. Particularly like the foreclosure department, they would look at their numbers for the month and say how good they were, because that's what their job was to do, to foreclose on properties. Our job in the short sale department was to not let them foreclose on properties. Our department is basically what's called the disposition department. We're looking for a homeowner to dispose of their property who's in a hardship situation in lieu of being foreclosed on. The reason why banks don't want to foreclose, that does cost them more money. They're not getting payments, they're not getting any more money from the homeowner, and they're incurring cost. So if they can reduce those costs by allowing the homeowner to sell the house, then it's a benefit for the bank. What we always would do at the bank was look at an analysis. We would look at situations as, here's the sale of a property, and here's what we'll net from the proceeds of the sale. Then we compare that to say, what would happen if we do foreclose on the property 6 months from now? So now 6 months from now, we're going to incur more costs. We're going to incur foreclosure fees, attorney fees, property acquisition fees, and now the person owns this, and possibly the value might go down between this time and that time. So we're going to see what our net proceeds are if we foreclose on the property. And then what's normally going to happen at that point is we're going to see that we're going to get more money now with a short sale. That's going to help us. That's going to help out the homeowner, and prevent a foreclosure from happening, which is basically the best results you want to have. As I also probably mentioned to you, is that the short sale process, even though it's called short, is not a short process, because of the abundance of short sales that are out there right now. Most are taking an average 60, 90 days, some even longer, depends on who it is. Understand your bank that you're making your payments to, they are basically a servicer. They're servicing your loan from an investor. Your investor can be either a private investor or a government investor. The most common Government investors are your Fannie Mae, FHA, and Freddie Mac. So a lot of times the servicers have to go to them for approval. Sometimes your loan can even have what is known as mortgage insurance on it, or PMI insurance. If you didn't put a 20% down on your home, just most likely there's private mortgage insurance on your loan. And in that case, the servicer has to also go to them to approve it. So they basically have to pay off a claim to the bank for the loss. So they look at your short sale as well. Most of the time, short sales, as I mentioned, our obligation is to get them approved. It's very rare that a bank will be turning down. The most important thing that you're looking at for you selling your property is that you're getting a good fair market value for your offer. If an offer is too low, then the bank most likely won't be approving it. The banks establish a value themselves on the property, and they're looking for that offer to be in that range. For an example, if you owe $350,000 on your home, but now the bank goes out there and says the value is, okay, $250,000. Well, if somebody made an offer, let's say for $150,000, do you really think the bank's going to accept that offer? Most likely not, because the bank knows if they get the property back, they can sell it for a lot more than what this offer is. Most fair market value offers have to be in the range of that number that the bank said the value is. So if it's $250,000, fair market value can mean maybe $235,000, $240,000, $245,000. It depends on the condition of the property and where it's located, and if it's in a market that's slow or a market that has a lot of activity, the bank may know that. So that always helps them too. So basically that's the information I wanted to provide to you for your seminar. I'm sorry I couldn't be here today to answer questions, but the ladies here will probably be able to take care of that for you. Thank you very much.